Good morning. I'm going to take this mask off. I haven't had my shots yet, but neither has my puppy. First of all, it's good to be here with all of these beautiful souls and beautiful hearts. Thank you so much for being here. I feel great. I hope everyone else does too. I hope everyone's family is doing well. Yes? Check in with your family. This is about utilizing impermanence, about realizing that there's no guarantees, and consider each moment of contact precious so that we don't waste time being remorseful when we don't have time anymore to make contact, to say I love you, to say I care about you, to say I'm just checking in on you, finding out who you really are and how you really are. So remember to utilize this space of uncertainty in a positive way that will certainly inspire others to do the same. Okay? Right? Give somebody a call today. Say, I'm just thinking about it. That's all it takes. Doesn't take a lot of conversation, reconciliation. Just, I was thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. Thank you. I'm sitting in the Dharma seat, but I didn't come here to sit in the Dharma seat. Oh, I wasn't asked to sit in the Dharma seat. But being ready is always about being ready. I don't have a clue. Usually, Panyawadi and I talk to each other in the mornings before Dharma and just throw out stuff, bounce stuff off the wall, off of each other. But we didn't do that today because she said she had it and she was going through some research material. Can you hear me, Bill?
Yes, I can.
Okay, all right. So I don't have a clue about what she's going to speak on when she finally gets here. However, I'd like to share something that might be totally independent or different from what she was going to talk about. So bear with me. It's not a test. I've noticed that a lot of people are still struggling with, not with the Dharma, but with themselves. Being like someone who knows what to do but can't do it, has problems carrying it through to the other side. And in my opinion, it's first of all realizing that this practice is not an easy practice. What I mean by that is, remember in the Buddha's teachings, he even said that this is something that it can't be discerned by mere reasoning alone. Right? So if I can't understand it by thinking about it, what does that leave me? Doing it. Right? If the instructions already tell me you're not going to get this by thinking it over and reasoning it out mentally, then it means that I've got to put my heart and soul, body into it. I've got to put everything I think is me and mine into it. And why do I have to do that? Because I have to do that to find out that me and mine and I is not real. It's not something I can use to accomplish anything. Because the skandhas are empty of me. All right. Think about that for me.
Keep going, just open up. Yeah.
Just open up?
Sure. You can
can just keep going.
Okay.
I have 1,000 Dharma talks in me. You just keep going.
All right. Well, I've got this half of one. All right. So let's open up. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. And welcome to everyone who's on the, what are we on, Zoom today?
YouTube.
YouTube today.
Facebook.
So welcome to everyone who's on YouTube. So as we're talking about, in the teaching, there's this numerology. There's 4 this, and 8 this, and 10 this. And a part of what 10 is all about is the fetters. And a fetter is something from the plant world that talks about things that get entangled and tangled up, and you can't move out, you get trapped. You get entrapped by the roots and the vines and the delusion of samsara and life. And so the first fetter out of the 10, the first one is a belief in self and soul. And it is my opinion that our difficulty in accepting at face value the expressions and the Dharma, no matter what discipline it arises in. So I'm saying if Buddha floats your boat, if the Dharma floats your boat, that is the Dharma of the teaching of Buddha, is because remember now, his name was Siddhartha. But if his teaching inspires you, then that's the teaching for you. If the teaching of Christ inspires you, then that's the teaching for you. But the first thing is to remember or to remind ourselves or to reach in and grab hold to the philosophy, the theology, the path, the Dharma that inspires us to do our best, that enables us to understand the walk with courage and heart and softness and compassion. That the first thing to do is to realize that we're not going to get this just through consideration and thinking about it. We certainly have to think about it because we have to plan, we have to eliminate those things that are less likely to bring us success in our path, and to utilize in this moment the thing that will give us an opportunity to enjoy and be inspired by the correct choice. Because this is what gives us the confidence. When we make the correct choice, when we have an experience and we come out on the other end of that experience successfully with the outcome that we thought we would have if we did what we did and said what we said. When we come out with that success, it gives us the confidence to do it again. If I come out raggedy, if I come out unsuccessful, then the next time my perception says that I've seen this before and this is what it is, I'm reluctant to use this again, this teaching, this method again, because it didn't work for me the last time. And actually, that tells me that perhaps there are two situations that I'm dealing with. One is that choice, that method that I used the last time is not the one that I should have used the last time, because it didn't work, and therefore it's not for me in the situation that I was in the last time. So the first thing I have to do is to recognize that all conditions, although they might appear to be the same, are not the same. There might be two women and one man and trying to figure something out, but that doesn't mean that the next time I'm involved with two women and one man trying to work something out, that I should use or say or do the same thing I did before this time. See, the perception works in a way that says, oh, you've seen this before, this is what happened that time, this is what you should use because this will happen this time. But what we're learning is to be spontaneous and fresh. That what happened the last time will probably not happen this time, even though there appears to be some similarity between last time and this time. What it tells us is, as far as the mental eye is concerned, the self is concerned, that there must be a consciousness or presence of who I think I am, who I've chosen to be, but to remember that I want to stay fresh. I want to stay open to the possibilities that this time might be different. So the first thing I do is I refuse to paint on this time, this moment, this situation, a flavor and a color that I was seeing the last time I had something similar to this. That I must stay open to the fact that this looks the same, but remembering and reminding myself that in the past I was tricked by perception. That even though it told me this is that, I've seen it before, and this is what I should do this time because this is what I did the last time, I want to remember and remind myself that the last time what I did didn't work. So the most craziest thing to do is to do it again. So when we are exposed to the moment, which is brand new, it looks like I've seen it before, but it's brand new. And I must remind myself that because of its brand newness, I will honor it with a fresh mind. I will honor it with a commitment to getting the best out of this moment that I can. Which means the first thing I have to do is shut off the dialogue from yesterday. Because that's in the past, and no matter what I do to it, I can't bring it into this moment anyway. I can only bring the memory of it into this moment. So how do we learn then? How do we, or what do we bring to this moment? Bring something fresh. Be confident enough in who you are and be deliberate enough in what you do that you know that when I bring heart to this moment, when I want to do the best for the other and for myself, that those boundaries, those requisites that I set up my choices on, that is about softness, kindness, the best for them and for me. Not for me, and if it works out okay for them, that's good too. No, but I start out with designing my responses to be the best for those that I am working with, that I am co-sponsoring this moment with. So that my intent, my energy drives the moment, drives the cosmos, so that it will be tipped with not a spearhead, but with the intention of love and success for them. And if I'm wishing success for you, and with my whole heart and spirit want you to enjoy that, then it's going to be good for me. Because you are in my moment, and I am in your moment, and we're coupled. But I'm going to benefit, because no matter how this works out, either I'm going to get it or you're going to get it. And if you're wishing for yourself to get it, and I'm wishing for you to get it too, it's going to happen. Because that's about power. That's about teamwork. That's about cohesion. That's about believing in one thing. That is the success of you, which means the success of me. You can't lose when you love everybody. You can only use when you have exclusion, when there's diversity. There's no such thing. That's why it's so difficult for all of these people who are working with the concept of diversity to make it happen, to make it real, to see it in a collective proposition. There is no difference between you and I. See, I've got to find a difference to make diversity work. And if there is no difference, then I got to make up one. And as soon as I make up one, I create a separation between you and I. And then I got to figure out how to patch that all up. I tear it apart. It's like tearing away the fabric of the moment. And now I've got to fix it back up again before that moment can flow. There is no difference because there is no you. There's no self. And this is the thing that we have to start working on, in my opinion, to develop a belief in the fact that there is no you and there is no me. Now you say, well, but I'm sitting here looking at you. How can there not be a you? I can touch this form and I feel it. How can there not be a me? Well, that's just what you got. I'm sorry, it doesn't make sense. But that's just what you got. So the suggestion is that before I can make sense of any of this, before I can use it to the greater good with any of this, I've got to disassemble this lie that there is a me and there's a you and we're separate and different. And the way we do that is through not thinking about it, not saying, well, yeah, okay, the Buddha said it, so it must be true, and I'll get to see it sometime in my lifetime. No, it's about striking down the delusion of the lie and practicing seeing the truth. And so what I have to do, first of all, is to work with that concept of difference, and that concept of independently living. Me against the world, you against me, we're different, we can't do this together. All of the stuff that we say and we practice. That this is my flag and this is your flag. All of the stuff we say and we practice. So we've got to be able to look at the concepts that create the delusion of separation and difference and see that there is none. So this is where we go back into watching the mind, watching the construct of how we make and mold our reality. And then to look at it and see that, looking at the first thing, which is form, me and you, you're there and I'm here, that we examine it from the inside out to see whether I can find me there. You see, I gotta be me here because I can see that way and I don't see me. So it must be here that me exists. I'm sitting here, this is my turf, this is my flag, this is my country, this is my neighborhood, this is my sex, this is my sexuality, this is my race, my ethnicity. All of these constructs that we've built up to separate and to make me different than you. I've got to go back and examine whether that's really true or not. See, again, we find out that when we have chosen to establish certain precepts in the mind, from time to time, it is our responsibility to go back and see if they're still true. There was a time when I would think that death was a scary thing. And so every time I would see the appearance of impermanence in life, losing the construct of energy, I would go into self-defense mode and make sure that it was you and not me. But now what we're saying is, well, wait a minute, let's look at that again. Let's see if that's a truth. Let's see if it's really so that when the energy of the body is no longer present, that means that I am dead. Because it sucks. Nobody gets away. Nobody escapes this realm without dying. So let me find out if that's really true. And so the way we do that is to sit with our eyes open or with our eyes closed, but sitting still and just watching this form, just re-examining it and looking at each piece of it to do what? To take it off, put it on the table. Once I've decided, once my examination expresses and aligns with the fact that this is not me. So the form and all of its components have to be examined. The hair, the bones, the mucus, the fluids, the teeth, everything. Look at each piece of you and see whether you find you in that piece. If you tear it all down and take each piece off and lay it on the table, until there's nothing left in the chair where you were sitting, or the cushion, or the meditation cushion that you were sitting on. There's no longer nothing there, and everything now is sitting on the table, then that form, that body cannot be you because you didn't find it. You find out that it was a concept, but it's not me. So therefore I have to stop living in a way that I think are rules that agree with the fact that this body, this self-promoted energy or life is me. And once I find I can't find it inside of me, then the next thing I do is to look at you and examine you and look at you internally and externally to see whether I can find you or whether I just find blood and urine and spittle and bone and air and fire and heat, whether that's what I find. And when I find that, then I realize that I am not me and you are not you. So the first thing that does is that frees me from living in an illusion of difference, seeing you as different from me. And it flows down to every ligament and every tendon and every appendage. This is why men have nipples. Because even if you think about the sex thing, the gender thing, we all carry the same equipment. There's no difference. Because there's no you there. But I've got to, after that examination and after convincing myself through science, the experimentation of can I find who I am this way? Am I here? And when I find that I can't find me, then I stop making me different. Then I stop insisting on you and me being different. I stop looking for diversity because there is none in that scoundrel. So I stop making one out there. I stop fighting against what is, which is, I am not this. And the teachings of the Buddha tells us that once I have discovered that this form is not me, then I let it go. I abandon it. I stop insisting on the construct of me and you, this and that this is not me, and I can let it go. I can stop defending it. What you want to do is that every time you get upset, every time that you feel you are in disagreement with, imbalanced by life, the world, reality, that you remind yourself that the reason that I feel this way is because there is something inside of me that I call me who's arguing with me and telling me it should be different. That this person didn't respect me. This person didn't honor me. This person didn't give me enough hugs. This person didn't act like the kind of mother I think they should have. This person, that person, didn't do what they did for me. If there was no me, you'd have no gripe. And let me tell you the secret. There is no you. This is not a tricky thing. This is not a game thing. This is not a, let me dazzle you with some kind of thing that you'll never understand, and you go back and say, wow, that guy was heavy. No, it's not about that. It's about liberation. It's about freeing you. Believing that there's a self and a soul, that there's a you and a me, binds you. It puts you in a prison that you can't get out of because you built the prison yourself. And then you're asking somebody to show you the door. That's the simplicity of the Dharma. Form is not you. So now the first thing that the mind says and perception says, well, if it's not me, then who am I? And you start looking for yourself again. You see how you chase your tail. Well, if it ain't this, well, what is it? Who is that? Who's talking to me? What's that voice I hear in my head? Abandon it. Put it down. Keep breathing. Keep being in the moment. And there comes a time in your meditation, in your watching the mind, where that self, that ego, that person, that thing goes away. Now you say, okay, well, how do I know that? Where did I go? Or who is it that's left? Find out. Just keep working with it. Keep letting it go whenever you can. Most of the people that we work with and that we talk about watching the mind and the nimitta and sitting still and going into jhana, most people will tell you that the reason they're not successful in establishing a nimitta and being able to see the light of mind, the light of truth, the light of insight, is because when they find themselves losing themselves, they become afraid and they stop the process. They withdraw from the process. Because I'm afraid to lose me. Well, look what me brought you. Look at all of the struggles that we go through each day. Because I am. Because I think. Even Curtis Mayfield. Anyone here know who Curtis Mayfield was? Yeah, right? He said, if you had a choice of colors, which one would you choose? I think, therefore I am. Think about all that keeps you grounded in that identity. And set yourself free. And then, with that fearlessness, with that authenticity that says, this, all I want to know is the truth. When you work your stuff, whatever stuff you choose to work, where you watch the mind. Just stay with it. And you will see, it's not that you have to create it. It's not that you have to now manufacture a self because you've abandoned the one that you've had all your life. It's not about that. It's about letting it roll out, reveal itself, and then you'll know. I am not going to tell you who you are because you know who you are. You've just silenced the voice that tells you. But you've got to go inside and look because you can't find it from out here. That's why one of the reasons I can't tell you. Because you'd never believe me anyway. But ask yourself who you are. And then when you can't find who you are, then you'll know who you are. All right, I'm going to give up the chair because I didn't come here to get in the chair. Okay. Well, that's where I think we should start. About taking the skandhas, or the form, feeling, perception, consciousness, about just looking at those parts and seeing if you can find yourself in any of those parts. If you can, call me. If you can, call me. But if you can't, and you say, well, I'm still looking and I really need this to be this way, then we'll work together. I'll stand on the other side and reach out and take your hand and say, come on. Work it out. I'll tell you where the obstacles were in your journey so that you can eliminate those obstacles and work in a reality of transparency where you won't be stifled by delusion and the need to be somebody. That's that ego thing again. To be the best, to be in front, to be at the head, to be in charge, to know it all. Let it go. And as my teacher told me, then you will be happy for a long time. So, let's just take a few minutes to close our eyes and see if we can find ourselves inside. Are there any questions before we do that? Okay. Next week, we should all be empty, void of this ego. Watch yourself this week when you find yourself kind of raising up to the task, to the fight, to the injury, to the confrontation. and ask yourself, who is this that's rising up inside of me? I didn't think that existed. And as soon as you shine the light on it, it disappears. As soon as you ask that question, who is this? Certainly not me. It'll disappear. So, work with that. All right. Well, is that saying that I'm finished? No? Okay. All right. So, well, we still don't have a bell. Okay, that's your bell.
You gonna meditate for a few minutes?
Yes, we're going to meditate for a few minutes. It wasn't my idea.
Will you led us to?
Can I lead us into the meditation?
Oh, most certainly.
All right, thank you.
After meditation. Play after meditation.
After meditation, Jennifer? Okay.
See?
These too shall pass. Hard as we try to hold on to form will die. Inherent in this dance of form is a chance to see what's yet unborn. The choice to throw this chance away and be caught up in the play of who we think we are. Who we think we are. This is your lifetime. It could end at any time. Where's your attention? Where is your prayer? Where is your song? Fortunately, comes a call to be free from the cycle of bondage, this identity, to wake from a dream and finally realize the truth of one's being before the body dies. So before the final scene is past, see the screen on which it's cast. See what sees me and you, and then you will see who you really are. Who you really are. Who we really are.
Thank you.